Hi, my name is Stephen Nolan and I'm the Managing Director of the UN-convened Financial Centres for Sustainability. I'm also honoured to be chairing this year's Climate Finance Week, which is now in its 4th year. It's been a week of loads of action, loads of announcements and several sessions which have been focused on the whole how-to within sustainable finance. Thousands of people have tuned in this week, and into the last day I'm really excited about the next event, which is focused on the Green Pledge. Can you pledge to do more sustainability? This is organised and hosted today by Suzanne Senior from BlackRock and Anne Shields from Goodbodies. I had the good fortune last night to talk to Jim Barry within BlackRock about what BlackRock is doing at this level, on this agenda at a global level. So I'm going to hand over now to Suzanne for her to kick us off this session. Suzanne, to you.
Thanks, Stephen. Hello, everybody, and welcome and thank you for joining today's session on the Green Pledge, which has been set up by the Green Team Network. We're delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you about this Green Pledge that has been set up by the Green as part of Climate Finance Week. I work in BlackRock and I'm a co-founder of the Green Team Network. And today we are going to talk to you about the backstory of the Green Team Network and the Green Pledge. I might hand over to Anne now to introduce herself.
In the asset management and investment funds team at A&L Goodbody. So I'm involved in the programme on responsible and sustainable finance at the Institute of Bankers. I hold a certificate in sustainable finance from the Cambridge Institute of Sustainability Leadership. And I'm here today in my capacity as steering committee member of the Green Team Network.
Thanks, Anne. So I might start off by giving you a background to the Green Team Network and how it was came about. The Green Team Network was born out of an initiative between Irish Funds and Grant Thornton. In 2020, they kicked off a competition within the industry that focused on sustainability called Sustainathon. The aim was to help the Irish funds industry as a collective play its part in tackling climate change. This initiative involved entrants from across the Irish funds industry to come together to come up with ideas on how to propose solutions to the sustainability agenda within Irish funds. Sustainathon was launched in an in-person event back in February 2020. There was an initial 120 people from across various firms in the funds industry who attended. Participants were sorted into teams with the task of coming up with an idea that could be adopted by Irish firms towards achieving the UN Sustainability Development Goals. 14 team entries were submitted from over 40 companies, and this was all achieved in the background of COVID-19 pandemic, which had just kicked off. 4 individuals were placed on the team that came up with the winning idea. That was Magda Supernat from investment services manager from SS&C, Aideen O'Leary, who is an independent director, and Shona O'Hay from Grant Thornton, and myself. Our team brainstormed and carried out some market research and ultimately came up with the idea of the Green Team Network concept. Our team saw the Sustainathon as an opportunity to learn more about sustainability and to connect with people in this space. Ashley McCaffrey then joined from Grant Thornton as well as a 4th co-founder and was instrumental in getting the Green Team Network up off the ground. Every industry in Ireland has a responsibility to address climate action goals for 2030 and 2050, and the Irish fund industry has a part to play like any other industry. It is a sizable industry with over 16,000 employees and over 160 firms, and this is predicted to continue to grow up to 23,000 by 2023. Currently, there's no central forum for Irish fund industry for collective thinking and acting on green issues. So the aim of the Green Team Network is to address this need and to facilitate knowledge sharing and collaboration, addressing sustainability goals across companies within the Irish funds industry. We acknowledge that all firms are at different stages at addressing these issues. A large amount of work has been done so far. However, the Irish funds industry needs to collectively come together to share their knowledge and lessons learned from work that they've done to date in order to impact further changes. The Green Team Network is now up and running since the end of 2020, and this has involved forming this very robust steering committee with 20 industry firms as outlined on this slide. And the key objectives, the initial key objectives of the Green Team Network, we have 5 key objectives that we'd like to implement initially. The first and foremost is facilitating knowledge sharing and networking. The Steering Co has been the start of this, and there's been a lot of collaboration and sharing within this group. We'll look to have wider events now that things are opening up, and in the meantime, we have been virtually networking through our social media presence and virtual meetings and events. It was important to develop an online hub, which is now up and running. It's at www.greenteamnetwork.ie. And this facilitates this knowledge sharing and information sharing as a key repository. One thing when we were doing our research is that came up as very important for firms was supporting them in the upskilling of their employees. So this has been one of our objectives to address initially. The online portal has information available on sustainability courses. It has testimonial from Green Team members on courses that they've completed. And we also had a recent webinar that focused on the rise of sustainability goals or roles. We'll continue to have more briefings over the next while, and particularly focusing on supporting our Green Pledge idea. That brings me to our last objective, initial objectives, which is implementing collective campaigns across the industry. And the Green Pledge is our first campaign to activate this key objective. Anne is going to give some more detail now on what the Green Pledge is and what is involved.
Yeah, okay, so what is the Green Pledge? Well, first its aim. So the Green Pledge aims to encourage and support firms in the Irish funds industry to take action on sustainability issues relevant to their business, and also to promote those actions that they're already taking. Now, I know we're talking about this initiative very much within the confines of the Irish funds industry, and that some of you today listening might not be directly involved with the Irish funds industry or be from cross industry or other sectors. I mean, clearly, across the whole week of Climate Finance Week Ireland, it's been a mark of its success to have thousands of people tuning in from many backgrounds. But I think the pledge concept, has general relevance and interest. So taking part in the pledge is straightforward. You simply access the online tool from the Green Team Network website and work through the form, answering the questions as you go. So the whole process can take as little as 10 minutes, and that's once you have the answers. So the actions in the pledge cover areas such as policy and education, paper, waste and water management, and business travel. In constructing the pledge, we decided that we should run a pilot, and we did so with Irish Funds member firms. So 10 firms have completed the pilot for the pledge, and most of the firms on the steering committee have taken part in the pilot. So they're the ones that you saw on a slide or two ago. So the pilot was to test the feasibility and potential uptake of the pledge, as well as obtaining feedback on the content. So all feedback received during the pilot process was incorporated into the pledge. So we tried in the process to engage with firms of different size and different categories of activity within the funds industry, so that the feedback was from as representative a sample of member firms as possible, and also as inclusive as possible. So on the next slide, please, you can see some examples of pledges. So on each pledge line, you indicate whether the activity has already been done by your firm, whether you're working on it, or whether you make a commitment now to do it. So once the pledge is complete, you submit the form. So you hit the submit button. Then it comes to the Green Team Network. Each item is scored depending on how it's completed. And some of the more ambitious pledges have weighted scores. So those pledges, for example, where you're pledging to reduce carbon emissions, for example. So the initial output of the pledge is to produce statistics, and that will allow firms to see how they compare to peers and within the overall funds industry on those environmental and sustainable actions that they've completed in the pledge. So now Suzanne is going to talk about the potential benefits to your firm completing the pledge.
Thanks, Anne. Maybe we can flip to the next slide. So why should you sign up to the pledge? Well, there's a number of key benefits. So it sends a message to your employees and clients and the industry that you're taking action on green initiatives. But why is this important? I suppose, from a recruitment point of view, firms that focus on this area attract more recruits. It's important that firms walk the walk and not just talk the talk. Obviously, there's so much more focus on ESG and climate and green agendas in general, and this is impacting, a lot of our businesses through, additional reporting and how we approach our clients and our services, etc. But we need to ensure that there's a rounded approach to the way that we work, and that we ensure that there's no gaps in the impact to sustain, to our impact in relation to our work behaviours, and that we are working sustainably. The pledge provides a peer-to-peer information sharing opportunity. The Green Team Network will facilitate networking events, sharing of best practices on the portal. We'll have briefings on specific topics and facilitate peer group discussions and roundtable and CEO roundtable discussions. It focuses on the UN sustainability goals, so it allows firms to play their part in supporting Ireland in relation in making its climate target goals. You can see how your firms compare to your peers and in the industry overall, but also by gathering these initial statistics on where we are as an industry to date, it allows the Green Team Network to identify the gaps that we have in the industry and help us focus our next campaign and initiative on how we help the industry close out these gaps. It allows firms who have, come some distance in their journey so far to showcase their sustainability achievements to date. From when we were doing research for the Green Team Network concept initially, we found that there was a great amount of achievements already completed to date from a great number of firms. So it would be great to share and showcase these so that others can follow a similar path. Not all firms are at the same stage. We're all starting from different benchmarks. So the aim is for us all to learn from each other and collectively make a difference. And it might be useful now to kind of say a word on how the Green Team Network think that this pledge could evolve. Are you there, Anne?
That's been the subject of so many excellent conversations this week here at Climate Finance Week Ireland 2021. So really, a big advantage of the Irish funds industry in all this is that it has scale, certainly by Irish standards and even beyond. So we all know that scale is really important in driving environmental, social and even economic change. And Suzanne's already mentioned the figures here. So the latest Indicon report estimates over 160 firms within the Irish funds industry and over 16,000 employees. So that's a lot of potential stakeholder pressure and leadership potential to put words into action. And we know that's what we need. We need to move towards action and impact. So the very exciting Irish Sustainable Finance Roadmap launched here on Tuesday explicitly recognises the importance of the Irish funds industry in sustainable finance initiatives, pointing out that as the third largest funds domicile in the world, this sector alone has over 5.2 trillion assets under administration in Ireland. So that's scale by anyone's standard. So if an industry that has scale moves beyond awareness to action, things can really start to happen. So again, a key outcome of the Green Pledge is that peer-to-peer conversations will start happening to share information about how firms are driving change internally, to encourage and dare we even say it, increase visibility of the competitive advantage that a business can have by integrating sustainability into its operations. So, we know the pledge won't set your science-based targets for you, but it might encourage your organisation to set them or to revisit them, or to show that you are a leader and share how you are achieving them so that others can follow. Might even drive industry conversations and consensus on, for example, how business travel can evolve to operate in a low carbon, climate safe way. So we would like to see the Green Pledge as the start of sharing knowledge and leveraging across the whole Irish funds industry around what can be done within member firms to drive social and environmental change in the direction of the goals of the Paris Agreement and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and to line up with initiatives such as the Irish Sustainable Finance Roadmap. And we at the Green Team Network are already looking towards how the pledge might evolve after this first iteration. So Suzanne, I think you're going to recap now and to talk about next steps.
Yeah, thanks, Anne, no problem. So what are the next steps? What is our ask? Well, the Green Pledge is your call to action. And signing up is fairly simple, as Anne outlined earlier. So there's 3 key next steps. One is to complete the Green Pledge. Sign up your firm to the Green Pledge. There's something in it for everyone, no matter where you are at your journey. Talk to your facilities, office managers, green teams, or those in sustainable roles, to understand where you are as a company, and they should be able to help you in relation to completing your pledges. Secondly, second step will be that once you've submitted your pledge, the Green Team Network will be in touch, and you will receive your rating. And over time, as more and more firms take part, you will be able to see how you compare to your peers in the industry. And the last step, I suppose, is most importantly, is to take action on your pledges, and be sure to complete and action the gaps that you've identified. And the Green Team Network will do biannual check-ins with firms that have pledged on how they are progressing. Please feel free to reach out to myself or Anne or the Green Team Network mailbox. That's info@greenteamnetwork.com. With any questions at all on the Green Pledge. And there's also a host of information on our portal, thegreentiamnetwork.com. Likewise, feel free to share any ideas that can be facilitated through the network, or any papers or webinars or case studies that you would like to share with your peers. And that's it really from me, and I really thank you for your attention today.
Yes, and we and the Green Team Network look forward to hearing from you soon.